feeling that itch for something really big, like you're ready to maybe skip the slow climb and make a real jump forward.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into this idea of quantum leaps, those, well, sudden, really significant shifts that can propel you way beyond where you currently are.
Mm-hmm. And what's fascinating is that these aren't just like minor adjustments we're talking about.
Right.
It's more about radical changes, often in your thinking or your circumstances, that lead to a much, much higher level of achievement. It's sort of like skipping several rungs on the ladder all at once.
Exactly. And the feeling itself can be quite distinct. Often it's a sense of sudden clarity, or maybe a really decisive moment that comes after a period of buildup, maybe even some frustration.
Absolutely.
Think about finally making that call to leave a job that was just holding you back.
Yeah.
Or maybe the day you just decided, okay, I'm fully committing to that passion project I've been dreaming about.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like embracing a fundamental shift in how you actually see yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Those can definitely be quantum leap moments.
They really can. And the core of our discussion today really is to understand the power behind adopting this quantum leap mindset.
Okay.
Our aim is to explore how you, listening right now, can maybe start to create the conditions in your own life for these big positive changes to happen without it feeling like this huge, overwhelming burden.
So why even think this way? Why aim for these big leaps instead of steady progress?
Well, one key aspect seems to be about expanding your sense of what's actually possible.
Okay.
This mindset, it encourages you to believe that things you might currently see as, well, are attainable, are actually within reach, and that can unlock potential you didn't even know you had.
Right. It reminds me of that Steve Jobs quote, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. It captures that element of, like, limitless thinking.
Absolutely. And that expanded thinking is just so crucial because it empowers you. It gives you the agency to take decisive action and really, steer the course of your own life.
Take control.
Exactly. Tony Robbins put it really well when he said, in your moments of decision, your destiny is shaped. It just highlights the sheer power of making a firm choice.
Mm-hmm.
And, the sources we looked at also really emphasize that you don't need perfect conditions to get started.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Like Napoleon Hill advised, don't wait, start where you stand and work whatever tools you have. Even taking imperfect action, just starting, can be a huge leap forward in itself.
Okay, but these kinds of massive shifts, they don't usually happen with just like a half-hearted effort, do they?
No, definitely not. One of the sources we looked at, Price Pritchett, he specifically warns against having a lukewarm heart.
Lukewarm heart, okay.
Yeah. It seems like these quantum leaps are really fueled by intense enthusiasm, by deep passion. It's about having those really vivid goals and dreams that keep your fire burning, even when you inevitably hit obstacles.
Right, because obstacles will come up.
They always do.
So let's maybe get down to brass tacks then. How can you actually cultivate an environment where these quantum leaps are more likely to happen in your own life?
Okay. Well, one of the first things that consistently comes up is setting really audacious goals.
Audacious, so bigger than just the next logical step.
Exactly. Forget about just incremental progress for a second. Try to really envision yourself several levels beyond where you are right now. Pritchett even suggests this technique, writing these goals down on a goal card, but in the present tense.
In the present tense, as if it's already happened.
Yeah, precisely. As if you've already achieved them.
What's the thinking behind that specific technique?
Well, according to Pritchett, writing them in the present tense helps to kind of program your subconscious mind. It builds a stronger sense of belief and inevitability. It's like mentally rehearsing that future success.
Okay, that makes sense. And this idea of believing in your potential, that connects directly to what people call a growth mindset.
Right. Absolutely. It's fundamental. This is the understanding that your abilities, your intelligence, they aren't fixed. They can actually be developed through dedication, through hard work.
Right.
Think about neuroplasticity, that, remarkable ability of your brain to form new connections and pathways throughout your entire life.
So our brains can literally change.
Yes. And when you see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to learn and grow, you're actually literally rewiring your brain in ways that can support those big leaps.
Wow. And that belief, that growth perspective, It needs action to back it up, I assume.
Oh, definitely. It needs to be accompanied by consistent, passionate action. Pritchett talks about the necessity of having a deep desire to really fuel that intense level of commitment.
Deep desire.
And Tony Robbins, he emphasizes the importance of taking massive, determined action.
Massive action, okay?
And when you inevitably hit those setbacks, because let's face it, everyone does, the key is how you respond, it's about bouncing back.
Not giving up.
Exactly. Napoleon Hill reminds us, when defeat comes, accept it as a signal that your plans are not sound, rebuild those plans, and set sail again. It's about seeing challenges as feedback, not as final judgments.
Right, just data points telling you to maybe adjust course.
Precisely. Adjust and keep going.
Okay. And another crucial element you mentioned earlier was insight. How does that play into quantum leaps?
Yeah. Leveraging insight, it seems vital to intentionally create space for creative thinking, to step away from the day-to-day grind and the purely linear problem solving.
So like dedicated thinking time.
Yes, or just a change of pace. Research suggests that those aha moments, those breakthroughs, often strike when your mind is in a more relaxed, kind of diffuse state.
Not when you're intensely focused, necessarily.
Absolutely not. Things like brainstorming, just changing your environment, even taking a walk or a break can help unlock insights that might lead to a quantum leap in your understanding or your approach.
Interesting. So stepping away can actually help you leap forward.
It often does, and underpinning all of this really is a genuine commitment to continuous learning.
Always learning.
Making it a daily practice, exposing yourself to new ideas through reading, maybe podcasts like this one, conversations, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
We came across a really compelling example of Bob Proctor. By consistently immersing himself in the principles of Think and Grow Rich, he apparently saw a huge surge in his income, like within just 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah. That constant influx of new knowledge, new perspectives, it can really broaden your horizons and make those seemingly giant leaps feel, more achievable, more within reach.
Okay, so these are some really powerful concepts. But how does this actually play out? It's always inspiring to look at real people who've made these kinds of massive transformative leaps.
Absolutely. Real stories make it tangible. Take J.K. Rowling.
Harry Potter, yeah.
Right. Her manuscript was rejected by 12 publishers. 12. I mean, for most people, that would be a pretty clear signal to just give up.
Oh.
But her persistence, her belief, ultimately led to this global phenomena. I mean, that's a quantum leap in publishing, if ever there was one.
Definitely. Or think about Thomas Edison.
Ah, yes.
He was apparently told by a teacher he was too stupid to learn anything, and he got fired from an early job.
Right. Yet he approached his thousands, literally thousands, of attempts to invent the light bulb as just learning experiences.
Not failures.
Not failures. That relentless pursuit, despite so many setbacks, it fundamentally changed modern life. That's a leap.
And Walt Disney. He faced some serious early struggles too, right?
Oh, absolutely. His first animation studio actually went bankrupt. He lost the rights to his first successful cartoon character, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And even Mickey Mouse, believe it or not, was initially met with some skepticism, but he just kept innovating, pushing the boundaries of animation, sound, entertainment, and ultimately built this massive empire, another huge leap.
It's fascinating how often these leaps seem to come from holding on to an idea that maybe seems unconventional or even a bit crazy to other people.
That's a great point. Look at Frederick W. Smith, the founder of FedEx.
The overnight delivery guy.
Right. He actually got a C grade on his college paper outlining the concept for FedEx. His professor thought it wasn't feasible.
A C grade.
Yeah, but he pursued that vision anyway and completely revolutionized the logistics industry. Talk about a leap based on belief.
And it's never too late either, is it, Colonel Sanders?
Oh, Colonel Sanders.
Yep.
KFC, a fantastic example. He faced over 1,000 rejections for his chicken recipe.
1,000.
In his mid-60s, before finally finding success. His story is just such a powerful reminder that these significant shifts, these leaps, can happen at absolutely any stage of life.
That's incredibly inspiring. And in more recent times, you could look at, say, SpaceX and Elon Musk.
Yes, a very contemporary example. Their early rocket launches were, well, famously plagued with failures, explosions on the launch pad.
Right, lots of setbacks.
But they built this culture of incredibly rapid learning and iteration. That willingness, that insistence on learning from every single setback has led to absolutely groundbreaking advancements in space travel and reusable rockets. A quantum leap in that field.
So it's not just individuals. History itself seems marked by these kinds of rapid progress periods, these collective leaps.
Exactly. Often driven by a bold, almost audacious belief in what could be possible, even when it flew in the face of accepted wisdom.
Like the Wright brothers.
Perfect example. Their innovation wasn't just building wings, it was the control system, that wing warping tech which they apparently got from watching birds.
Inspired by birds.
Yeah. That was a fundamental leap in understanding aerodynamics and achieving controlled, powered flight. Nobody had quite figured that out before.
Or the shift in just understanding our place in the universe. Copernicus, Galileo.
Oh, huge paradigm shifts.
Hmm.
Challenging centuries of belief that everything revolved around the Earth. That took incredible courage and, well, a quantum leap in thinking.
And Louis Pasteur with germ theory.
Right, completely overturning the old miasma theory, the idea that disease came from bad air. His work showing it was microorganisms that revolutionized medicine and public health forever.
And looking at social progress, too, you see these moments, these leaps forward.
Absolutely. Think about Rosa Parks. Her courageous refusal to give up her seat wasn't just an isolated act, it ignited the Montgomery bus boycott.
A pivotal moment.
A pivotal moment, a catalyst for the entire civil rights movement. And Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, that wasn't just a speech. It articulated this powerful, compelling vision for a radically different, more just society. A leap in collective aspiration.
And even government goals or industry initiatives can spur these leaps, right? Like the moon landing.
Definitely. JFK's commitment landing a man on the moon by the end of the 1960s that absolutely fueled an unprecedented acceleration in aerospace technology, a massive directed quantum leap.
And things we use every day now, like the internet or smartphones.
Exactly. Those represent quantum leaps in how we communicate, how we access information, how we live, often built on decades of research, but then reaching a kind of tipping point.
All of this connects back to some really interesting stuff from psychology and neuroscience too, doesn't it?
It really does. We touched on neuroplasticity earlier, that amazing ability of our brains to reorganize, to form new neural connections as we learn and adapt throughout our lives.
Right.
This means that those internal shifts in thinking, in belief, the ones often needed before a quantum leap, can happen externally. They are actually biologically possible. Your brain can change to support them.
So it's not just wishful thinking, there's a physical basis for transformation.
Precisely. And this just reinforces the power of cultivating that growth mindset we talked about. When you genuinely believe your abilities can be developed, you're far more likely to put in the effort and engage in the learning that actually drives those neurological changes.
Which paves the way for nonlinear progress for those leaps.
Exactly. It supports breaking out of that incremental rut.
And what about those sudden aha moments we mentioned? Is there science behind that too?
Yeah, there is research on insight. It suggests these flashes often happen when our brains switch modes from intense, focused attention to a more relaxed, diffuse state of thinking.
The shower thoughts phenomenon.
Kind of. That relaxed state allows for new, maybe unexpected connections to be made between different ideas stored in your brain. That's why stepping away, taking that break, can sometimes paradoxically lead straight to the breakthrough.
Fascinating. And the power of expectation. You mentioned that earlier too.
Yes, that's a big theme, particularly in the work of people like Bob Proctor and his institute. They talk about how whatever you expect is likely what you'll get.
So expect big.
Well, the idea is, why not expect exponential improvement? Setting that high intention, truly believing in the possibility of a quantum leap, can significantly focus your subconscious mind, your efforts, and actually influence the outcomes you achieve.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but in a positive way.
In a very positive, directed way, and the emotional drivers are key here as well. Price Pritchett really hammers home the critical role of intense desire.
That deep desire again.
Yeah. That's what helps you push through the inevitable fear, the doubts, the challenges that always come up when you're chasing big, ambitious goals.
And visualization. Does that play a role?
A huge role, according to many sources. Vividly visualizing your success, really immersing yourself emotionally in that future reality, feeling gratitude for it as if it's already happened, that can deeply embed the goal in your subconscious.
Making it feel more real, more attainable.
Exactly. It anchors that quantum lead in your mind first, making the external actions feel more natural, more aligned.
Okay. So as we begin to wrap up this deep dive into quantum leaps, let's maybe just crystallize some of the core principles that people can take away.
Good idea. Let's summarize the key takeaways.
Okay. First, it seemed to be about thinking expansively. Daring to dream way beyond your current limits, right? Really envisioning what a significant leap forward would actually look like for you.
Absolutely. Expand that vision first. Secondly, it's about decision and action. Make a clear, bold decision and then follow it up with consistent, determined effort. That's often the spark.
And the best time to start is,
Almost always right now, don't wait for perfect conditions.
right. Third, cultivate resilience. Persist through the doubt, through the setbacks. Remember those stories we talked about?
Mm-hmm.
View challenges not as failure, but as feedback. Keep that unwavering belief, especially when things get tough.
Crucial. Fourth, consciously leverage the power of your mind. Understand and believe in your brain's capacity for growth, that neuroplasticity. Believe that transformation is possible for you.
Own that potential.
Exactly. And finally, stay inspired. Surround yourself with things, stories, ideas, people, environments that fuel your belief in the extraordinary. Keep reinforcing the possibility of making those quantum leaps in your own life.
Maintain that positive input.
Yeah, keep that possibility front and center.
Okay. And on that note, maybe a final thought for everyone listening to consider. What bold step are you currently thinking about? What quantum leap might you be feeling ready to embrace in your own journey right now?
That's the question to sit with.
We really encourage you to reflect on that. And hey, if this deep dive resonated with you, we'd love it if you shared your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
And if you found value here, we'd be truly grateful if you would subscribe and maybe share this with others who you think might be on the cusp of their own quantum leap.